All right, let's jump right into it here. Starting in the southwest of Eternal Empire, representing Team Clash from Italy, it's Reynor.
Up against the blue Protoss on the top right-hand side, Demaro himself, Showtime.
Representing Berlin International Gaming, freshly recruited.
Yeah, great. I mean, honestly, even so far, just the round of 24 is a great result, considering his bracket was really one of the tougher ones in the offline groups, in the offline bracket stages, the offline qualifier stages.
Yeah, beating Gabe, I think, is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Especially, and I mean, Gabe only dropped down.
Beating Gabe while on Clan Big as well.
Yeah, man. So when that team announcement came out, everyone was like, surely Gabe has to join Big too, right? Like, and then it's like, but is he then Big Gabe or is he Big Gabe?
It's double big.
Yeah, you'd absolutely have to name change, right? There's no way about it.
Sure.
You have to just lose the Hero Marine at that point. You know, fully live the meme.
So after what happened last game, maybe I expect a little bit more of an aggressive, potential game here out of both players on Eternal Empire. It's like somewhat shorter rush distance. And taking, I think in particular, 4th and 5th base can be tricky for either side with the way the map is set up with these ramps and everything. We'll see. Like maybe Showtime might think he needs to play a little more aggressive himself in particular, because like that was a solid performance out of Reynor, just like expanding, doing all the right transitions, making the right units at the right time, and he's so relentless with those links. Like, how do you deal with this? You can't afford to make like 10 cannons per base. You just can't.
On the plus side, I think the one thing this map is good for is to really shut down Lingbane run-bys, right? Because you can wall a certain way off this front natural to kind of just wall very early this ramp here, and then you move over to the 3rd base, and obviously you can wall a bit there. But in general, if your army's there, you move down to the 4th, and it's only really that one pathway to counterattack on. So that's maybe the benefit here from Showtime, and maybe even Reynor plays a different style from being so Lingbane heavy, based on the fact that it might be a bit tougher to execute us. For the moment, Showtime continues with the Stargate play over in the natural. It's going to be kind of tough for Reynor to figure out where he should send his Overlord to see that.
Yeah, I was very impressed as well last game with Reynor's initial defense. Like those Adepts and those Oracles were completely shut down for the most part. They barely got any drones, Only when there was 3 Oracles could they finally fly in and do some damage, but after that, they got chased away. They were kind of like, idle in the middle of the map, not doing too much. So that was really well played by Reynor. I feel like most Zergs, they would have taken at least a little bit more damage, if not way more.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, his defense was, I think, the best I've ever seen against a 3 Oracle opening. It was absolutely on point. Stalker here early signifies probably the lack of a Phoenix, and that's what we kind of were expecting to see a little bit from the last game, that he then didn't actually do. As his first Oracle finishes up, I kind of get the feeling, because he's got the Stalker, he won't go Phoenix. He'll go 2nd Oracle at least, and I think, again, he will go 3 Oracles, and probably just into that Robo follow-up from there to try and get on the map, similar to the last game, right? Only maybe this time without the Adept pressure, so that he can just do things that little faster.
He's still hiding it here. This is a sick mind game.
Yeah.
Like, I thought for sure Showtime was going to send that to the Overlord and kill it, but then that reveals to Reynor what he's doing. I wonder if he might just fly across the map with the 2nd Oracle and kind of let Reynor think that there might not be any Oracles, because we don't see any spores on the way right now. There's a chance Reynor reacts a little late here to these Oracles being produced. Right. Yeah, Showtime's doing that. Yeah. He's flying across the map.
And he goes into Phoenix as well afterwards.
Oh my god.
It's a real mind game. It's definitely not the expectation of what's meant to happen.
And there was no Ling on the way either. Yeah. So there's still no spores on the way.
Yeah, this is really good for Showtime. Great mind game that's absolutely looking as though it's going to pay off, heading down to the bottom of the map. And he will still go 3rd Oracle behind this as well. So he still will have 3 of those. Maybe 2 stay aggressive and 1 stays at home to defend the 3rd. As here we go, the 2 show up and they're going to dive on some drones. Only 1 Queen in the main base as well. And that's 4, 5, 6, 7 workers down and counting. And compare that to the first game.
Yeah, he's already lost way more.
Nothing.
That was amazing here by Showtime. So smart to just hide that, let Reynor think that there is no Stargate play in the works. Even damaging that one Overlord, the Overlord just couldn't fly in and confirm anything. I guess seeing a Stalker is somewhat of a tell that something could be happening, but Reynor took the risk. He has like kind of like 1 chance out of 2, so to speak, that it could be a Stargate or not. Skipped the Spore for a little too long and gets punished for it here by losing quite a few drones. Showtime is on 47 walkers to 42 now. And he's going to be able to apply a lot more pressure, you know, force more queens. He can fly in there, pick up one of the queens, kill more drones. Like, there isn't even a spawn in the natural right now.
Yeah, I feel like he feels pretty safe. Feelings will counterattack, but he has got a good amount of adept warped in, Sentry's joining them. So the Oracles don't even turn around to defend. He's just going to turn those Lings away, so no problem there. Now triple Oracle ready to hit the natural. Could do quite a bit, especially, I mean, Spore just about to finish up, right? So you fly straight past here. He could have maybe gone for even a queen kill or something at this stage.
Yeah, prevented some mining here for a little bit, and it's very annoying for Reynor to have to resaturate the gases, you know. Takes a bit of effort here for a second. Reynor going for a Spire.
Yeah, which is interesting when someone already opens Stargate, right? Because they already have the tools to start responding as soon as they figure it out. You can just start Phoenix production right away, so maybe a little bit of a gamble as well, though, where he's just like, man, I've really had a terrible early game. And one way to get back into the game more reliably is a Spy, or maybe not more reliably, but it's got a better chance of bringing me back in than just trying to play something standard off what has been such a weak drone count.
It's a sick location, by the way.
Yeah, it is, right?
Like, we just saw Showtime fly to the back of the main base to try and confirm what tech buildings were there. But the Spire being between the natural and third base, that's like one of the least likely spots that Showtime will be able to scout, because that's in the middle of the crib. The queens can be there, they can just kind of do moving shots. But now he's going for aggression inside of the main base. And you might be able to start realizing that there is no gas-heavy unit. You know, there is no road, no Hydralisk, and that there is a Spire on the way. If he realizes, it's great for him.
He's adept, should have just stayed in the main base there. There was nothing to deal with them. Showtime, you know, shades them away and he gets them back in the warp prism, so they're still alive. But there was so much potential to just keep killing drones. Either way, Showtime has gone up to 3 bases, fully on, you know, full on macro, without really taking any damage, and obviously doing so much damage himself.
I wonder how curious he's feeling right now about what Reynor's doing. I guess he's just happy he's killing drones, but confirming the tech of your opponent at this stage in the game is very important.
The fact he's missed that is such a shame, and you see even hallucinations now, and now he sees it. And again, it's just that little bit of a rough time, and immediately starts up at Phoenix. And that's the one benefit he has right now, the fact that he already has a Phoenix that he saved earlier, and he can go straight into Phoenix production off the Stargate.
First class transport.
Yeah. You know, never mind flying your way back home. Get back here ASAP. Full on 50 energy recall. Yes, this shouldn't be too bad though, right? Couple Stalkers with the Phoenix combined. You know, shield battery's about to finish. Cannons. This should be okay. I don't think Reynor's going to do too much, but it is just the little things that Reynor can do that he will use to get back in games.
Yeah, he only killed 3 probes here, and it looks like those Phoenixes, if they can kite well enough, which is always super hard because of the acceleration.
Yeah, wow. The recall on that Phoenix to bring it back and make this a bit more holdable was actually such a good call, because it's really cost the Mutalist doing any damage at all, whereas before maybe they could have just got like 5, 6, 7. That's such a worthwhile recall.
And Reynor is committing here to those Mutas. So I think he's really hoping to be able to get on top of those Phoenixes, take them out, and they just kind of win the game right out from there. Maybe go for the main base, force the units to come back there, and then swarm with Zerglings on the ground. Right now, he's making a ton of units. He's staying on 63 walkers, getting +1 Zerg Flyer attacks. And Showtime must be starting to realize, yeah, that's a lot of Mutalisks. Like, you're not really making anything else with your gas, so Showtime needs to make sure he preserves his Phoenix count. If he overextends even for 1 second, this would be very bad. But Reynor really trying to force those Phoenixes to get in there by attacking the entire wall. He's going to try and bridge the natural base.
Yeah.
The units there were not there.
Yeah, he's going to just straight on dive on this. I don't know where the Archons are. There they are. They're going across the map. So Showtime's going to counter while pretty much everything here from Reynor will continue to try and break on through. The Phoenix are getting caught as they pop out. He built a second Stargate, so 2 Phoenix at a time. I mean, that's a 4th base that goes down, but I feel like you probably need the 3rd base here because you're losing your own 3rd base at the same time as Showtime. Reynor really doesn't have anything to go back home with, though. And a 2 base against 2 base scenario for Showtime should be pretty good for him. He might even just dive straight towards the natural. It's a lot of overlords.
Oh, the Mutas are coming back. And there's not that much anti-air there.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a prism either, so it's further away. He needed Stalkers in his composition. Guardian Shield is going to help, but these Archons...
These Archons are enough, right? The Mutalists spread out pretty well, and while the Archons trade pretty well, the Warp Prism can only micro for so long before it is targeted. But here come the Phoenix! Maybe just a little bit too late because there's 1 Archon remaining. The Phoenix will pick up some kills, don't get me wrong. He's killed a lot of drones, but remember, he lost his entire 3rd base at the same time, and this attack is still ongoing.
Yeah, the Expo here, the natural, not quite going to be breached here with the wall. One single Immortal is trying to escape right now, actually, from that attack.
Yeah, which, I mean, at this point, it kind of feels like you need anything you can take, right?
Oh no, Immortal.
Gets caught. Showtime's work account isn't bad compared to Reynor's, it's just the lack of a third base to mine from really takes so much away from you, and especially because now the Mutalisks are still in pretty good numbers, you're going to be so afraid to move out anywhere again. You've got to fully rely on these Phoenix being able to clean up.
Reynor salvaged his position so well. I really like the bold move of saying, all right, this is not going the way I wanted. I'm just going to go for more Mutalisks and like just force a bad fight out of him. I'm surprised that Showtime moved out to try and go for the attack. I guess he was just feeling safe at home, thought he could hold on against the Mutas with just his Phoenixes, but Reynor being able to start the base trade so much earlier definitely put him ahead. And he killed all of the probes inside of that third base. That wasn't evacuated by Showtime at all.
I actually don't mind the idea of Showtime pushing across the map if the counterattack of Reynor doesn't come in like it does.
Yeah.
But the counterattack coming in so quickly is exactly what you said, and it's exactly right, I think, because all of a sudden Showtime's already warping in back at home, and then eventually the Mutas come back too, and there's just no warp-ins added to the original army. Showtime going to go for one more attempt. He's pretty much all in here as he has sentries to defend the natural. Across the map, he pushes into the third base, but again, it's that Mutalisk count. At least the Phoenix count is good to try and fight this off.
Yeah, those Phoenixes are putting in work against those Mutas, but the Mutas are going to clear out the Archons on the ground. Now all he has to do is Skype with those Roaches to deal with the ground army of Showtime, but the Phoenixes are still... I guess they will be able to pick up those Roaches. The Phoenix is really starting to turn the game around here. For Showtime, he's got to a point where he has so many of them.
Yeah, absolutely right. The Mutalisk count is pretty much gone, and now you are just kind of stuck on Roaches as Reynor, which... Okay, Showtime doesn't have any Immortals, but what's to stop him building a couple of Immortals here and starting to set up into that spot, which would be so good for him. Catches these failings as well, that's really nice. And at this point with the Mutas gone, maybe you can just retake a third base.
Yes, 10 Phoenixes. And no upgrades for them, though. Roddy's somewhere watching this. Like, where's the first one?
You know what, you're so right. As we have the Hydras then about to finish. I do like that from Reynor, because I feel like what is there to defend Hydras in this army of Showtime? Like, to an extent, Charged Lot Immortal kind of just does the job, right? But at the same time, once there's so many Hydras, you really kind of need Storm, and that's not something Showtime's ready to commit into. As the aggression here from Reynor, keeping up at the front, he's really just trying to scare Showtime away from ever taking a third base.
Those Roaches are actually trading pretty well here.
Yeah, they are.
But they will get cleaned up eventually. Phoenixes need to move back into that position. Showtime needs to retake the third base and then start harassing again with the Phoenixes, but Reynor is looking to transition into Hydralisks.
So the one good thing for this from Reynor is while he loses a lot, it bought him time where the Hydras are coming out, and the Phoenix aren't just there picking them up one or two at a time. So now he's got a lot of Hydras. The question is, does he get to that critical mass where they just kill things so much faster than they die? Because Hydras are really a glass cannon unit.
I mean, it's tricky too, because Showtime can just kind of fly around, maybe fly into the main base of the natural where there is no Hydras, and then kill a bunch of drones. He sees that there were some Hydras kind of by themselves. So he's going to fly and kill a bunch of them, but loses some Phoenixes there.
Yeah,
and he's still moving out. Why is he moving out?
I don't know why you move out against the Hydras. I think there's just too many Hydras already there, right?
Yeah.
It feels really tough. The Showtime, if he's going to fight that, needs a big Zealot count, and he doesn't have a big Zealot count, and one warp in is just not enough right now.
He's almost supply blocking Reynor here. Maybe a few more Overlords.
Yeah, I mean, these Phoenix have a lot of potential still, and it really scares Reynor from moving out as well. Because if Showtime keeps the pressure up and Reynor moves out, he's going to kill all the drones and Reynor's all in. And while Reynor's got a good amount of Hydras, I'm not convinced it's enough to be happy being all in with. So, interested to see what happens here.
Ooh.
Phoenix have to be paid attention to. You need those in the fight.
A bit of a slugfest there on Eternal Empire. They really got into each other's face and played very aggressive.
Yeah, no, they really did. As the Hydras continue to cross, it's about to happen. This big fight that could determine the game. I mean, Reynor's only on 41 drones, so Showtime having a third base back up is so good for him. These Phoenix should be able to fight this amount of Hydras. Just a little slow to the pickups.
He's like, why? You attack me?
Yeah, I attack you. I kind of like this for Showtime, honestly. I feel like, you're not maybe purely properly set up to deal with Hydras, but 3 Immortals, couple of Archons, that count's only getting higher, and every second that passes is a bad second for Reynor right here.
Actually, he will up in sentries here to make sure he wouldn't let this army up. Yeah. There is a single Ravager trying to break that. Reynor is moving in for the kill. Phoenixes came back for the defense. It's so scary to actually move up that ramp. He doesn't know how many more force fields there are going to be available. And now Showtime, realizing that Reynor is very committed to this attack, might be behind in walkers, and he is right in that. Gets a bunch of shield batteries on the expansion. Showtime just got worried that there was going to be an attack on the other side. Gets ready just on time. And this is why we call him D-Mauer.
Reynor also realized that he can't kill Showtime here, so he stopped just building purely units, which he was doing. He was just reinforcement with Hydras and things. Now he realizes this is not going to work. He's fought too much time. He's not hit fast enough. So he goes back into drone production, starts up Baneling speed, and takes a 4th base. So Reynor is going to try and play this game out from a pretty bad economy. And this is why I actually think Showtime's position could get him to. And now that he's here, I think this is pretty much the best spot Showtime could ask to be in. Plus he can get that Storm, which is essential against a Lingbane Hydra comp.
Gets to supply block him. I mean, there's no creep spread. Like, how are you going to engage?
Yeah.
If Protoss moves out and fights you in the middle of the map, you're not going to have the mobility that you would have on creep. Storms are going to land. It's going to be very bad. Even if you set up, like, you know, 360 surround like he did in previous game to be able to get the defense that he got early on against the big army of Showtime. But yeah, those Phoenixes also, they give you so much initiative. You can just keep on flying around, find the one spot where there is not enough defense, maybe just the one spore. You fly and you kill a bunch of drones, and that's just damage that you achieved and you trade for energy.
Yeah, I mean, these Phoenix are really just great to have kept alive throughout all of this, right? Because now they're still going to harass a bit as Reynor's trying to drone up. Boom, you jump in the main, and you don't want to stick there for long, but he probably realistically could have got a couple drones on the gas, right?
Yeah.
And those are little things which would have just kept Reynor that little back. It's just the possibility of doing that, but the biggest thing has to be those storms available, and I just don't see Reynor's army being big enough or good enough to realistically fight them.
Oh yeah, no, this is, at this point, this is pretty bad for Reynor. That Showtime got to Storm that easily at this stage. He's going for 14 more links. And Reynor is getting ready to defend against the push. You see, he's not going crazy on the drones. He's getting +2 melee. So I think the plan is just to start creep shredding for there and then kind of hope that Showtime maybe goes for an attack a little too fast, overextends. Yeah. And then he gets some big Baneling connections, cleans up, and somehow wins the game. But you can't really expect for Showtime to make these kind of big mistakes.
Oh my god, those Lings. I love the preemptive force fields on the left as well, so they have no chance of getting away. The High Templar probably not meant to be that far out on the right side, but they helped to clean up the last couple. I mean, that's just painful as Reynor's the one who's getting aggressive again. He is building infestation bits, so he's not like all in with this. There's a couple of Banes sneak by, and that is 5 probes. But that's only going to bring Reynor into 4-worker lead, and again, his economy is just not really what he wants it to be.
Yeah, this is where, like, some of the very few Banes that Reynor has, actually, because his economy is not too great. He's very Hydralisk heavy. He's got the class cannon army here that Storm loves to mill. How many High Templars do we have?
He does have a lot of gas as well, by the way. So he does maybe have a way to do something if he can just get minerals up. As this base is just going to live. Meanwhile, 7 drones going down, though, so it's still kind of bad for Reynor, right? Anytime he's losing economy here is really tough, as Phoenix finding a few overlords, and Showtime has moved out into an aggressive spot now.
Yeah, he's at the edge of the creep. This is always when you need to consider like the possible engagements that Zerg is going to be trying to take. I haven't seen an observer here, really, but he might just be confident to take the fight, land the perfect storms, and try and win the game right there and then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with him moving forwards, but at the same time, the second you're on creep, that can be where everything falls apart, right? And you know Reynor is so scary to play against with all of that run-by potential, the surround potential. He's so good at moving his army, and so Showtime just backs off, probably just saying, you know, if I go up to 5 base and 5 base, again, if you're still just building Lingbane Hydra, this is a better game for me the longer it goes until you get a solid transition up.
I'm surprised Showtime hasn't rebuilt the wall off here on his natural base, because there's like this giant hole in it where, like, if Lings were to run by the side of the main base, that'd be pretty hard to defend. But I guess he would just rely on warpins. Looking to try and take a 5th base.
Yeah, just dropping this down. I mean, it's one of those stages where base number 5 kind of comes into play, and, you know, because it is a long game, right, where you've been mining the main and natural all this time. The 3rd is pretty much mined out as well, so to kind of survive on 60-ish workers, you kind of need base number 5, which I guess you could argue is the one thing that's been good for Reynor, is that obviously Showtime's been limited on mining because his other bases have been mining out. Unfortunately, that doesn't really take away from the fact that you're in the exact same scenario. It's not like he's had a 4th base while Showtime hasn't, so
yeah,
it's still just feels a bit tough as he goes in towards high tech, trying to find a way to fight the Showtime army.
I think Showtime might just do a pre-hive timing with +3 attack upgrades and like very close to being maxed out. But he's probably very wary of those links. I mean, look, those links are somehow achieving stuff. Like, I don't know how he does it, but Reynor has such good map awareness, and every time there is anything out of position, even for 1 second, he's ready to catch it.
Yeah, he jumped on that right there, gets himself an Archon kill. That's exactly what you're looking for. Little bits and pieces like that, they drag Reynor back into this. Now, Showtime, he's got to be considering a little bit of what he wants to do here, because he is starting to close in on being maxed out. Hive is also finishing as well. So you don't want to be too passive to let the Zerg just completely back into this, but again, you don't want to go fighting on creep either. It's a real tough scenario. It says, okay, Fleet Beacon, I'll get that up and keep teching here. This is a bit of a clash, a couple of storms dropping down. Looks like Reynor wants to fight with the concave, but I mean, Showtime's not going to run up into a concave, is he?
Yeah, that would have been very bad. Actually, he's moving back in there.
Yeah, but now the concave wasn't here right away, so he maybe felt there was a bit more opportunity.
I think it's still good enough against this army that Showtime
so
has
too.
there, because it's not everything that he's got.
And the storms are like in the back as well, so they can't come in to force the Hydras back and to give him more room to move up the ramp. Littling run by, not going to find anything. Couple Zealots too scary, even to snipe that Archon down.
I think if Showtime realized how slow the tech into Hive was from Reynor, he might have just maxed out and tried to go for the fight. But instead, he's dropping down second Stargate, Fleet Beacon. On the other side, Reynor has so much gas. Like, he's finally spent a lot of it, but he's still got some left over. And I guess he's going to be taking the gases on his additional bases, so it looks like he might want to add some lurkers to his army.
Showtime is kind of coming through here, and again, just can't really find a way to take advantage of what maybe is a better composition. And the other thing he wants to, he's building carriers, which is really a move which says, hey, I want to sit back and I'm just going to be happy on 5 base. I'm going to get an air army. And the next moment of this game that's going to be very important is when Reynor hits a lurker timing, essentially, because if these lurkers do nothing, then what preparation has he had to go up against carriers? Yeah.
I mean, Showtime, yeah, is on the work account, is still doing great here. 61 to 49. Yeah. Like, this is
fantastic.
Such a weird game, to be honest. Like, Reynor's just been getting ready for an attack that just hasn't been coming.
Yeah. And then he sets up for like the next attack, which also didn't come. And then it feels like now he's got the lurker den up. Is he going to use it? Well, there's going to be a surround. Is there a way for Showtime to get out of here? Probably not. Drops all the storms he can as desperately as possible. He recalls a little bit of the army, but most of it goes down. A couple of Immortals are saved. Reynor picks off a lot. Showtime had a lot at home, and that's why his army just wasn't even in the slightest chance going to hold that off.
Only one of those Immortals actually got out of it.
Yeah, I thought two did, but one died last second, huh?
And now Reynor's on the warpath. I mean, he's so low on the work account, 47, that his maxed out army supply is 153 against the 100 of Showtime. Sees that there is Zealots doing a counterattack. This is not cost effective at all.
No.
Did Reynor find a way to win this game?
I actually think he maybe just did. I think Showtime was a bit too aggressive with half his army. He got surrounded. He didn't expect that from Reynor, and now lurkers are here too. And it's just before these carriers get into that count, which makes them so very good. You know, 1 or 2 carriers is nothing against these Hydras.
Yeah.
Up to 6 or 7, they're going to be
terrible
fantastic.
against what Reynor has.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be great like 2 or 3 minutes from now, and Showtime absolutely believed he had that amount of time. But after losing so much of his army, he doesn't. So now here we go. Reynor sieging up those lurkers. I mean, he's got an attack on the right side as well, and Showtime just feels like he's kind of guessing where he should go for the best.
So Seismic Spines finally finished, meaning that these lurkers, they teleport on the ground, they got blink.
Yeah, it's pretty good, those lurkers, getting that range as well, as the Hydra's going to be up to the top side, able to pick their way through the Nexus here. The extra lurkers still just slowly pushing in. So Showtime in the last couple of minutes lost half his army, his 4th and 5th base, and now has his 3rd base sieged by lurkers. This went so wrong so quickly. And
that top left base is about to be scouted here, which is a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, Reynor's just, he knows what the attempt is here. A couple of good storms to start this off, but the thing is, even if Showtime cleans this up and forces Reynor to back away, Reynor's now backing away into a fantastic position, 5 base against 3.
Carriers actually went too far forward here, and Showtime's just going to tap out here. Reynor,
GG.